Hello there, viewers. I'm the Knight of Arcane, and I wanted to get something done for the release of the Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Knowing I wanted to put characters onto the Suicide Squad like Popcross Studios did. His cartoon characters on the Suicide Squad Round 2, along with anime characters on the squad, were the first videos of his I found, and I got ideas for my own version. When planning and prepping a few weeks back, I first thought of doing Hazbin Hotel characters on the squad, but I felt I didn't know much at the time to do it, which I am very much glad that I did wait, but you'll see soon. And this past week I've got the idea to put the gorillas on the squad. After all, Clint Eastwood was used in the trailer, so I kind of wish I got that a little earlier. But I decided on the random topic of putting Danny Phantom Ghost onto the Suicide Squad, partially to see how well it would do, and thinking it could be fun. Anyways, let's check out which ghosts made it onto the squad, shall we? Penelope Spectra may seem like a normal person, just overly chipper and extremely motivational by all of the students that know her. However, her childhood was anything but chipper. Born to her middle-class workaholic and alcoholic parents, Penelope was usually left alone, and when she was noticed, usually mentally abused by her parents on how worthless she was. She tried to stay positive, turning to books on magic and the supernatural, but her life kept getting worse when her parents died in a drunk driving accident. Most of their money went to paying damages and those affected by the accident, leaving a teenage Penelope to be put into the foster system, suffering for years under neglectful parents. Finally, with all the misery she'd faced and all the prayers she gave for a better life, something did answer. A dark and ancient spirit, as old as the Enchantress, the manifestation of human misery, offered her power, eternal youth, and whatever she wanted. All she had to do was make a deal. What this spirit didn't know was that they played right into Penelope's hands. Having found texts on this spirit of misery, Penelope worked to make sure it would come to her, and try and offer her a deal, even tampering with her parents' car and getting their drinks spiked to cause the accident, just so she could then take the power of human misery for herself. While successful, Penelope's human form was destroyed, turning herself into a dark shadow of who she once was, or more accurately, showing her true self with this shadow form. So she made a fake skin of herself, and worked to spread misery to power herself, pretending to be a guidance counselor at a school, making a bunch of students depressed, then secretly causing a catastrophic event, leaving many dead, and she'd be in the wind looking for another school to torment. However, she would soon become the teacher at the school a young Rachel Roth, aka Raven of the Teen Titans, was attending. Noticing the odd changes in the students since Penelope's arrival, Raven was able to expose the counselor's true form and have her locked up in Belle Rev. Believing Penelope to be a good counter for the Enchantress if she ever went rogue again, Amanda Waller gave Penelope a chance to take years off her sentence by joining Task Force X, or more commonly known as the Suicide Squad. Penelope accepted, going by just the name Spectra on missions, and gave the team another sorceress to work with. However, Spectra worked to not only get out early, but to prepare herself so she could steal the powers of both her fellow team members and the daughter of the demon Trigon for herself. There are many artifacts that Ra's al Ghul, the Lord of the League of Assassins, has scoured the earth for in his goal for a perfect world, with many ancient guardians and beasts sometimes blocking his path. One such guardian was the Behemoth, an ancient metahuman creature of unknown origins, possibly related in some way to the Behemoth in ancient texts, that was then set up as the final obstacle for an ancient key, one that could unlock any door, any realm, and even was rumored to unlock one's full potential. Ra's al Ghul needed this key to unlock an ancient tomb his league found, legend stating it to have belonged to a powerful king of long ago, that the wizards that gave Shazam his powers had to lock away, in fear he may destroy the world, sealing his power into the Ring of Rage and Crown of Fire. But the Behemoth was powerful and was able to handle anything Roz and the League could throw at it. For decades, he tried to get the key with no luck, until he had an idea. Using a stolen mother box in the League's possession, Ra's al Ghul had the assassin Deathstroke lure the Behemoth into the boom tube, right into the middle of Gotham. This not only allowed Ra's al Ghul to acquire the key, but also served as a distraction of his greatest threat to his plans, Batman. Sure enough, Batman was soon on the scene, and while the Behemoth's strength was nothing to laugh at, Batman was able to outwit the beast and subdue it. Thinking he was just a normal metahuman villain, he was sent to Belle Reve, where Amanda Waller was able to actually speak with him, and learn more about the key he guarded. With cameras showing Deathstroke leaving the boom tube seconds before the Behemoth, and knowing his relation to the League of Assassins, Waller offered the Behemoth a deal. Join her Task Force X, get the key back, and he'll start to work off the years on his sentence. Waller knew he was more beast than man, but even a beast can be reasoned with. But how willing would she be to let the Behemoth go in the end, is another question. A lot of villains on the Suicide Squad are mostly cannon fodder, usually given the offer by Waller to either act as recon or distraction for the real team she then sends, or to make an example out of them, with Waller knowing full well they'll all be dead in the end. One member that's possibly the luckiest, or unluckiest if you look at it, is Bobby Paulson, aka the Boxman. Bobby was a working class man living in Gotham, working in the Gotham Harbor as part of a freelance shipping company for the criminal underbelly of the city. He had a meticulous system on transporting and stacking the boxes, seeing it as his own small form of art that no one else seemed to care about, always being looked down on due to his size and weight, and being called the Boxman as an insult. One night, while unloading a shipment of arms for the criminal Two-Face, the Batman showed up to take their operation down. The workers, all either trained to hold their own in a fight or carrying guns on them, attacked the Batman, but of course were no threat, with Bobby being more caught in the crossfire since he wasn't much of a fighter, just good at moving boxes around. However, when a cable for a crane snapped and sped towards him, Bobby tried to shield himself with his arms, but instead a few boxes moved in front of him and took the blow. Bobby was stunned, surprised he was able to move the boxes, and figured he must have had some sort of metahuman gene that gave him telekinesis. His co-workers, noticing this, urged him to use it on the Batman, which Bobby tried to do, on the man himself, a truck, even a crowbar on the ground, but he couldn't move any of them. Frustrated, Bobby threw his arms around and caused a bunch of boxes of all shapes, sizes, and materials to launch out and bury Batman. While Bobby did have telekinesis, it only seemed he could only lift items that were cube and rectangular in shape, like a box. Though they were still beaten and taken into custody by Batman and the police, Bobby decided he'd use his powers to become the best criminal in Gotham. While nowhere near the best criminals in the city, the Boxman, as he was still called by the papers and other criminals, did become a bit famous on how ridiculous he and his powers were. With his schemes always failing, him getting extremely beat up, and then being taken to Arkham, usually by someone from the Bat family, but also a good few moments of times by the police themselves. He was soon transferred to Belle Reve, and Waller gave him the same offer as the other criminals, to join her Suicide Squad to get time off his much shorter sentence. While believing he'd be dead by his first mission, Waller was surprised that the Boxman not only survived, but completed his mission as the only survivor, though was still beat immensely during it. He would then be put on more missions and somehow always survive. Usually just barely, even if the mission wasn't always a success. The Boxman didn't care, and soon had a new goal: become the best member of the Suicide Squad, and one day be able to lead missions of his own. Though he'll have to survive the bigger and deadlier missions Waller puts him on first. Most members of Task Force X are criminals from Earth, be they from the land or the sea, locked up at Belle Reve for a multitude of crimes. Skulker is an interesting exception. An interstellar bounty hunter and mercenary like Lobo, Skulker is seen as much more deadly and patient. With a cybernetic body laced with multiple tech upgrades, weapons, and even nth metal, this interstellar hunter will go from planet to planet to hunt the most dangerous, rare, and unique creatures and people he could find. His hunts then decorating his trophy room. He had gone toe-to-toe with many Green Lanterns, including Kilowog, and even held his own against the Red Lanterns, when he heard about the last surviving Kryptonian in the universe living on Earth. Skulker was excited for the challenge, though was surprised on how much more powerful the Kryptonian was compared to how texts he found said they were supposed to be. However, through his observations, he found a weakness and an ally. The bounty hunter offered Lex Luthor the head of Superman in exchange for tech upgrades and whatever kryptonite he could give him. Wanting the constant thorn in his side dead, and believing the alien could beat him, Luthor agreed. While Skulker was wiping the floor with Superman in their first battle, he started to grow bored with how much weaker he now was, though he'd have no problem taking his head for his wall. But the Kryptonian was saved by the Justice League, with Wonder Woman being the one to take him out. Skulker would lick his wounds, taking his time by hunting other heroes and villains down. And while he had a few successes, he was bested multiple times by his prey. Even Gorilla Grodd was able to beat him in a battle. Soon, Skulker was locked up and sent to Belle Reve, and while Waller loved the chance to have someone that could go toe-to-toe with Earth's mightiest, the hunter easily agreeing to go on missions for a chance of freedom and stay on the hunt, she needed more incentives and stronger hands to keep him in line. She just needed to find them, or maybe have them find her. And that was Danny Phantom Ghosts on the Suicide Squad. I think the designs are pretty interesting, and when looking at the list of ghosts, saw a lot I want to draw, either in these videos or just general fan art, probably as a daily drawing. But what did you think of them? Let me know in the comments, along with other Danny Phantom Ghosts I should put on the squad, other series I could also put on the squad, and other videos I should try with Danny Phantom characters. For more superhero content, we have FNAF animatronics as superheroes, along with also Transformers, and we have some generally fun ideas like Hazbin Hotel in Mortal Kombat and Godzilla Kaiju as mermaids. And if you liked what you saw, then leave a like and subscribe to join our growing little Arcane town to be in the know for future videos and projects. With Monday hopefully having another video related to this one out by then. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Later!